but the issue might be in some other file. So let me explain here. So maybe I came here and I was just kind of like looking at this piece, and I don't know, for some reason, like that, I did that. Like I removed the semicolon, but I didn't know I did that, right? And then like I just completely forget about that. And then I'm trying to do my homework, assuming that switch was my homework, right? So then I'm like, okay, let me go and run my homework. Let me go here, running terminal. Let me see if I can produce the error. Yeah, I produced the error. But again, like if we're new, like I'm gonna be staring at my code for hours, and my homework code, because maybe I did that error like in the last lecture, when in the last previous lecture, and you don't remember, you didn't even know you did it or that you saved it, and then you'll be like, he told me this is to do this and this, man. This is like exactly how he did it. Like I followed a pattern, and it's not working, right? And I mean, look at this output, right? And if you just kind of like scroll slowly, and then here, like you'll see some errors, right? Like expected, but then notice it's in hello world, right? I mean, I'm pretty sure students, like, I'm pretty sure I did that when I was back in school. Like, I'm like, that's okay. This is okay. And main's okay. So why isn't my program working? So the key here is always go back and look at your log, the error log, and see if it can mean something, right? So the key is always like to do a search for error colon, right? And always go to the last one in the log. So was this the last one? Switch, those are previous errors. I think that's the last one, right? So then here you're like looking at the path, and it's kind of like, hey, wait a minute, like hello world, what? But then at least here it's trying to tell you like there's like a missing semicolon if you go to line 12 in main.cpp of the hello world example. So then you would have to go here, and I'll explain my thinking, the logic behind that, right? So once you go here and fix it, then the error will be gone. When you're working in a team, the rule is always make sure that whatever code you make in a program, the program might have 10,000 lines of code, 100,000 lines of code, 1 million lines of code, and you'll download the whole program to your computer. And the rule is always make sure that your code compiles with no errors, right? So in this case, like I didn't purposely break the rule, but my goal here is like I want students always, like if they make a change, I want them to make sure that the program runs, right? Because if you're working in a shop, like you have to make sure that whatever code you write compiles and works up to whatever specs they want you to write that code. So all these examples, they're like stitched together with that goal in mind. Like any code you write here has to compile and has to work. I mean, it's not going to mess up any other student. It's just going to mess your sandbox up. But I'm giving you practice to make sure that, hey, if you're going to make changes, whether you copy my examples or you want to do your own examples or whatever, your code has to compile and it has to run. That'll get you into the habit of always making sure that any time you make code changes, your test cases pass and your program compiles and runs. Right? So in homework assignments, I'm not sure, like students, like the main program doesn't run, the test case doesn't run. So in that case, I know what happened. Like maybe the student was in a hurry and they went to the online chat and they're like, hey, can somebody like kind of like help me? But actually, like by help, I mean like just give me the source code and I'll just stick it in here and I'll make it work. But if you haven't been doing your due diligence, then you put files and you put the code in the wrong files, and then like it's not working, and you're like, whatever, I'm just gonna turn it in like that, and it doesn't work like that, right? Like if you're working at a shop, you know, they'll put you on a 90-day plan, and if your work doesn't improve, then you'll be at the door, right? So I'll like start here. Like I mean, this is just a grade, right? But you're building habits for your career and build good habits, right? When I was 13, right? I was a grave digger. Like my father would wake me up like at 5 in the morning on Saturday mornings in South Texas. You know, maybe the previous night I had gone to the football game and stayed out late with my friends, and and then he's like, "Hey, wake up!" And I'm like, "For what?" He's like, "Well, I told you we're gonna go to. You have to dig that hole before it gets too hot." I'm like, "I don't want to go." He's like, "I'm not asking you if you want to go or not." I'm like, "Okay." So then, like, he would do the heavy lifting, right? Like he would like use the pickaxe, and I'd have to go into the hole and like throw the dirt out. But then, like when we were like already 6 feet, we had to square the corners of the grave. We had to square them, and that was my job. Like I had to square them, meaning like perfect 90-degree angles. And I was lazy sometimes, and I go in there and I just kind of like whatever, and then I come out and I'm like, oh, okay, I'm done. And then he would go check, and then he'd like give me a cock in the head, and he's like, get back in there. And I'm like, for what? He's like, you didn't round them out, you didn't corner them like I taught you to do it. And I'm like, it's just a hole, like who cares? He's like, it's not just a hole, that's someone's resting place, and that family, paid money for us to dig a hole for that person. So you go back in there and corner it like I told you to. And then he told me, your last name means something. Make it mean something. Be proud of your last name. Do high quality work. So he's like, I know I'm just a damn janitor and I'm a grave digger, but I'm the best janitor in the school district. And I'm the best grave digger. This is like in the early 80s, right? He's like, for the city cemetery. They always call me because I do a good job. He's like, whatever you do in your life, whether you're a janitor like me, or if you go to school like I want you to go to school, and you're an engineer or whatever, and when they say Gonzalez, Art Gonzalez is in the project, everybody's going to be happy because they know that there's not going to be any rework. They know you're going to do a damn good job. So when you're doing your homework, have that attitude, right? Like, have your name mean something to me and to your bosses, right? Like, how do you do that? By turning in high quality work. I know it's just a grade. Like, some students, they're okay with a C, but at least turn in a working program, right? Like, not a program that doesn't work. So please, like, this last 30 minutes, I want to, I went through, troubleshooting, but then, I want to make sure that you understand, what you're trying to do. You're trying to get into a field that pays very well, but it pays well to those who do high quality work, right? So don't forget that. You're not doing it for me. Honestly, I don't care if the program's not running. I'll go through the rubric, and I'm like, whatever the rubric says, I give you a 50, whatever, I'll give you. But it should matter to you. I want you to be better than what you think you will be. Remember that. I want you to be better than what you think you will be. And the only way to do that is by always doing the right thing, turning in high quality work. And believe me, when you go to those interviews, you'll get a job. They're going to hire you right away if you're doing the right things right now. So please, don't forget that. I'm sorry I had to preach, but sometimes I just kind of nod my head when I'm grading, right? So, yeah, so Okay, so let me stop here.